Chats, stories of God working in the lives of young people in western Montana. Chapel Chats is a production of the Diocese of Helena, Office of Youth and Young Adult Ministry, and the Catholic Youth Coalition Board. More info at dohyouth.org. Thank you to our sponsors, National Catholic Society of Foresters.
Hello again, this is Father Kirby Longo, the host of your Helena Diocese CYC Board podcast. Today we are with Rosie Ramirez, one of the vice presidents of our CYC board this year. And we might as well just get into it. Rosie, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So you just said my name is Rosie. I'm 16 and this is my second year on board. And it's been really cool getting to see already just meeting everybody new on board and getting to see the relationships that form between everybody. So that's pretty cool. Speaking for myself, I love to mountain bike. I'm not very good at it, but it's always a joy to just get out in the mountains, really do anything outside. And I also joined the swim team, so I do a little bit of that. So, yeah.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Mountain biking is one of my loves, so I'm always happy to hear when a younger person is doing it because it's just one of the best possible activities, especially in the outdoors. Just amazing. So, great. As we've been, as you'll know if you've listened to any of our other podcasts, what we've really been pushing into in this is kind of the way that God is at work in our lives. So, in particular moments of grace, or through the church or the sacraments, or even through people who have really touched our lives and brought the Lord in a concrete way into our lives and kind of helped us to come closer to his heart. Rosie, what would you say? Would you just like to give us maybe like your story? So how's the Lord kind of brought you to where you are today? What has he done to kind of move you in a way that's kind of really kind of made you feel called to take a real concrete leadership position, but also just the way that he's worked in your life personally?
For sure. One of the ways that I definitely can notice God in my life is through the people that I meet. I've noticed, especially on board, that anybody that I encounter that is a stranger to me, but I meet them and I know that they have a root in Christ, I just am able to see this other aspect of them that I can't really see in other people, like that don't have a faith base. I've always been able to really feel that the relationships that I form through Christ are a lot more genuine. So I guess just through the people that I meet is the main way that God has worked through my life, which has been pretty cool, especially now that I do have a leadership position. I'm able to interact with a lot of people that I maybe wouldn't have thought to approach before, and really have been able to get more of an in-depth relationship with everybody on board and not on board, and meet people that have just been incredible role models, especially some of the youth ministers here on board.
Awesome. What could you give us maybe, just looking back in your life, you come from a great family of super faithful Catholics. What, I think in particular, as a young person coming from a family of faith, there has to be a point in your life at which you really embrace your faith as your own, because, our parents can instill in us the faith to a certain extent, but at some point, it has to get personal. And so what would you say are some of the either one moment or multiple moments that have really brought you or helped you to kind of embrace your faith as your own instead of kind of as something that's just a part of your family?
Right. With that, I've always grown up, as you said, in a faith-based family, which has been incredible. I've always been able to be guided through that to just kind of shape my whole life. I guess when I was little, I didn't really think about going to Mass that much or what I was doing as an intentional thing. I used to never want to be on CYC board, actually. When I was little, my older siblings always did it. And I just really had no intention of doing that. And then I went to convention my freshman year. Well, actually, before that, I went to junior high rally when I was in 6th grade, which started to kind of hint like, oh, maybe that's something that you wanted to be a part of. And before that, I'd gone to Legendary Lodge, which was always the highlight of my summer. Definitely recommend going. But convention, I think, was really freshman year, the main thing that made me really want to be a part of my own faith and take it on individually, because I just saw the joy that everybody carried with them, especially the board members. They were just so alive with the light of Christ that it made me really want to get involved.
For sure. I mean, I see this being my first year really witnessing kind of the way COIC board works. I see, especially in a small place like Montana where we can be so spread out and not necessarily even have communities in some of the small towns, it's just so awesome to see kids like come together and really form really awesome friendships. And you were talking about like the depth of friendship in for your friends who are Christian versus your friends who aren't. It's such a great thing to realize, because friendship is common interest when it comes down to it, but the common interest being Christ is one that will never go away. I mean, it's the deepest in our life, and it's one that will never go away until the day we die. Like, you love mountain biking. Someday maybe you won't love mountain biking anymore, and your friends you made through mountain biking won't be your friends anymore. But like your friends you make through Christ and through your faith will always be your friends, and that's also the deepest type of friendship. So that's really cool to kind of realize and see. What would you say are some people who have really worked in your life in powerful ways? So like people who have kind of really pushed you in your faith, or not necessarily pushed you, but like just influenced you in your faith, or their witness has been powerful to you?
Definitely a lot of the youth ministers that have been just around. When I first joined board, I was able to meet Kathy James, who wound up being my confirmation sponsor last year, and she's an incredible woman that is just such an amazing role model for me. I just saw all of the love that she gave to all the board members as they were like catering the food for board and everything. She would always greet all of us with a smile. She always intentionally looked at us and made sure that we were like doing okay, made sure to engage in conversations with us, which just really impacted me, because that reminds me of kind of my mom, because my mom is a very personable person. She loves being social. She loves interacting with other people, sharing stories, and just hearing where people come from and how their lives have been shaped by various things. So seeing that reflected in other people just kind of really solidified the person that I really want to be, through her, through my mom, through other youth ministers, other people's moms, really just the strong women in my life, and the men too, not to leave them out. But yeah, those that really genuinely have this care for other people, and you can definitely see it as they live it out. Awesome,
yeah. I mean, the faithful women are always, I'd say, like, you even see it in the scriptures, like especially in Acts of the Apostles with Paul and all those guys as they go on their journey. It's always like the faithful women who are taking care of all of the details and making sure everything is working, and like and that's always been in the history of the church. Always like you walk into a church and you see the faithful old women praying the rosary, and it's like those are the ones who seem to be keeping us all afloat. They're always the ones.
We're kind of awesome, not gonna lie.
making it all work, and kind of carrying us all on through their intercession. So awesome. As we wrap up here, how about a book or a saint or a style of prayer or a song that's really been hitting you recently?
Well, with being an officer, the meetings have been very hard lately because they've just been a lot of things to keep track of. So one song that for sure spoke to me last meeting was Lead Me by Sanctus Real. And specifically the lyrics, lead me because I can't do this alone. And really just placing everything that I'm going through in the hands of Christ and letting him take over. And then one specifically for this meeting was by Lauren Daigle, I think is how you say her last name. I think it's called I Believe. that one's just a really powerful prayer to meditate on.
Awesome.
I love meditating on song. I think
For
that
sure.
it's a really great way to kind of put into words the feelings that sometimes we can't always name. So
Yeah, awesome. Music is certainly a super powerful medium that, you can really just bring across things that, can't be spoken or read or anything like that. Awesome. That's good to hear. So, that's about it for this week. We thank you all for listening to our podcast here. I hope some of you are listening to it. And it's great to have Rosie here with us. And we will give just one shout out here at the end, as always, to the National Catholic Society of Foresters, who make this podcast possible with their support. Again, this was Father Kirby Longo, your host, and I was with Rosie, and it was a great and pleasant conversation. We also just appreciate Rosie's leadership in the diocese this year. She's doing an awesome job as the Vice President of Communications on CYC board. A great group of kids, and we see them as the future of our diocese and wanted to give them support in any way we can. So also pray for our youth in our diocese. Thank you again. God bless and peace.